All right. So, Amanda, today, this episode is really all about you.
Oh.
Yeah. I want to pick apart how and, more importantly, why someone gets into your field. So, real quickly, how did you get involved in the Lynden Heritage Museum?
So, back in 2018, I was asked to help reorganize the museum's financial statements. Basically, it was like old systems merging with new systems, and that's what my background is. So, can I come help? Great. Became their treasurer. Did that for them for 4 or 5 years. And while I was on the board, continued life, did my other business consulting, worked with some other companies, and the director at the time decided to retire at the end of 2021. And at the time, it was right after COVID. The industry that I was currently working in was kind of in an upheaval. And so I basically made a proposition that I would come in, take over the director role, and basically revamp the museum as a whole. So processes, programs, risk assessments, financials, strategic development, brand marketing, all the things. And it literally happened as quick as that.
Fast process.
Yes. Yes. Well, when he retired, he wanted to leave. He wanted to kind of like continue the process of leaving rather quickly, which was fine. So we kind of all just needed to move things along fairly. But I mean, in the short of it, that's how I ended up there.
So your background then, you talked about it a
Yes.
little bit, a lot of planning from the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Do you have a specific education in that or?
Business administration
All right.
and business management and a lot of hands-on experience. I grew up with a dad who was entrepreneurial, ran his own businesses. Entrepreneurial. I can never say that word. Anyway, you guys all know what I'm talking about. But and he was successful. Had his failures, but he was always of the mind that we were along for the ride. So I always got to be taught business lessons and what not to do, and got to listen to how he handled customers and hear him on the phone. And we would do, things growing up. And then I started school and started working with smaller companies. And I've done everything from bookkeeping to HR to payroll to AR and finances. And then I did business development, and I realized that I had a knack for being efficient with systems and how systems run our companies. And how do you become a better company? By understanding what your system does for you and how the systems and the processes and the procedures that your team uses are also equally as important as what you use, and how basically it all works together in tandem.
All right. So, did you go to university for any of this, or was this really just homegrown skills?
Both. So a little bit of both. And they kind of equally played their part. And also because I'm a creative person, I have also a weird background that allows me to understand the artistic ability, which comes from, the marketing and understanding, like when we go in and talk about marketing and branding and what you want to see, I specifically want to be creative about that process and how it represents the company that you're working with and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of like this whole package thing, but not everybody I work with or the schooling that I've done, it's been learning pieces. So pieces of how it all works together. And then when I go and work with companies, I pull out the piece that they need development.
It is oddly fitting for the direct position of director then, because we've talked about this in the past where directors kind of just do what they need done.
Right.
And you're able to come in with such an eclectic set of skills.
Yes.
So on that note then, so what are perhaps the most important qualities that a director of a non-for-profit should have?
Flexibility. It is the ability to not necessarily be able to do all, but know of all. So there are, on my level, I can do pretty much all of it. But let's say I wanted to get into more into social media. I know what I want to do, but I shouldn't be doing that. Not necessarily from a delegation standpoint, but from an experience standpoint. Could I do it? I could. Should I? No. I think I should find a way for somebody else who does it better to take care of it.
Right.
So it's that kind of a thing.
Okay. It really is just about finding the right people to surround yourself with then.
That, and having a very clear understanding of what you do well and knowing you can back it up if you need to. I've had many, many times where I have 100% had to stand my ground and defend myself, not because they were intentionally trying to come after me, but for anything, but because when you're responsible for people and places and large sums of money, you get asked questions that kind of come at you like they're questionable.
Right.
And when you understand what you're good at and you know exactly how it works, how it operates, how you got there, how you would do it again, would you do it again? You have to be able to take people down that road and emphatically say, this is the way that it's going to be done, and this is the way I'm going to do it, and be okay with that. But also understand that if you're taking care of something that's not your strong point, actually being willing to say, I don't think that I did this wrong, but I could have done it differently.